I'm Killian, and I'm a developmental editor and have over 15 titles published.
And I'm CJ, author, artist, and I eat, sleep, and breathe storytelling. We're critique partners, and we're here to explore and discover the art of story.
From beginning to end.
From inspiration
to hitting publish.
And welcome back. We are here with episode 3 on our How to Improve Your Writing 101, Getting Out of That Bubble. What's the bubble?
The bubble is the lonely place of despair we exist in as we're hunched over our computer typing away, and we've written something amazing and nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I'm alone.
So we're going to get out of the bubble today with a developmental editor.
A developmental editor will pop in it. All right. So what is a developmental editor? That'd be us.
2 for 1, baby.
A developmental editor is an editor who is looking at the big picture of your story. Mm-hmm. We are not only looking for plot holes, although that is a big one, but we are looking for your themes and your tropes of your genre, making sure you hit all of that so that your reader expectations are met. We are looking for character consistencies or inconsistencies and pointing that out to you. We are making sure that your story structure, the pacing works for your story structure, right? And this is all, this can all differ between subgenres and genres.
So before, Killian, before we go on, can we just, because this is our, right? No, it's good. You're good. That was great. We have Writers 101 watching us. And I want to make sure, because when I was a Writer 101, I didn't know what the hell was the difference between all these different editors. Everyone's talking about beta readers, editors, line editors, copy editors, developmental editors. And I'm just like, so what is the difference? Developmental editor. Very overwhelming. So let's just clarify for the newer writers out there, the difference between the 3 kinds of editors you're going to hear about.
So that's developmental.
What are the other kinds?
Then you have line edit. Okay, and a line editor is going to go through your sentence by sentence, prose, sentence structure, including sometimes dialogue. And their main purpose is to make sure that it's readable. Yeah.
They're going to take your long drivel of a sentence and teach you how to
simplify it.
Simplify it, turn it into a nice snappy sentence, and hopefully teach you how to do that as they edit you. So that's a line editor.
While keeping your voice intact.
Yeah.
That's the hard one.
That's okay, but we're going to talk about that in another video. And what's the other kind of editor?
Copy editing.
So do they copy your work?
No. Copy editing is the editorial style for fiction writing. And they follow Chicago Manual of Style. Chicago Manual of Style. And that is specifically for fiction writing. So do not have your best friend who was an English teacher for 30 years editing your manuscript.
Yeah.
How many times have I heard this, right?
The grammar police are not going to solve this.
The grammar police, okay? Because this is for fiction. Think Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Did you say Huckleberry Finn? Who is that?
Okay, so this is for fiction writing. So it's more than just grammar. It's consistency. You know, how to write AM and PM. Is it capitalized? Is it lowercase?
Yeah.
Spelling out all of the numbers, numericals, certain rules.
And that's all copy. And we're going to talk about that in another episode.
Copy editing.
But we're going to talk about what we love, which is the art of story, the structure of story, the developmental editing. And that's what we're going to focus on, getting out of that bubble. So what is the order of operations here? So you get your critique partners, you learn how to, you get better, you learn how to write, you do a draft, you get it as good as possible. And now what do you do?
Developmental editing comes next.
Once you feel like you've kind of taken it as far as you sort of can, then it's time. It might be your first draft. It probably will be your first draft. Maybe your first draft with some revisions. Then you get in that developmental editor. How do we know we can trust the oh my gosh, I had the worst experience. I went to the fancy website that's supposed to charge you more money. First of all, he kept not getting back to me. I should have known because he was cheaper. He was like half the price of the other people on this really
I was getting angry
platform.
for you.
He was like half the price of the people on the really expensive platform that shall remain nameless. Okay, but he was probably the regular price of a developmental editor off of that platform. Now, he had all the names. He worked for this publishing company, this author, that author. And let me tell you something. This guy, I swear he was in rehab. He must have went to rehab. I still swear he was in rehab because, first of all, he kept not meeting his deadlines, I kept giving him another chance. And then he finally sent me back 1 page of feedback that it was so obvious this guy did not even read my manuscript. Then he had the spheres. He had the spheres to get on a Zoom call with me and try to bullshit his way through the whole call. So I asked him. He bullshirted. He tried to bullshit me.
Is this the good place?
Yeah, I love the good place. The show ever. Working shirthead. So he sat there and he bullshitted his way through this whole conversation, and I'm letting him go, and then I finally just I lean in and I say, I want you to be honest with me. Did you actually read this manuscript? And he looked at me and he must have seen it in my eyes. And he shook his head. He said, no, I'm sorry, I didn't. I skimmed it. And you know what? I'm going to show up in this guy's mailbox biannually for the rest of his life.
Listen, boys and girls.
That was my developmental editor.
If you are paying north of $1,000 for a developmental edit, they better be reading it line by line and not skimming it.
That's right.
Okay. So yeah, a developmental editor, I'll tell you what I do. I go line by line by line and I leave inline comments. Yeah, those are a lot of lines in one sentence, but listen.
Yeah.
Because this is how you know that they're doing their job. Okay. I leave inline comments and I comment anything that calls out to me.
Yeah.
Then I write up an editorial letter. Okay, devising a plan on what to do next, things that called out to me, and what needs to be fixed as per their genre, as per the story structure and tropes and themes in order to meet reader expectations.
Yeah. And
if it is needed in another document, I will give a suggested re-outline on how to structure their story if they need it.
Yeah,
let's say that they thought they wrote a dark romance, but they really kind of wrote an epic fantasy.
Yeah. And don't confuse this with an editorial review, because that's another thing.
That's a whole different thing.
But, and I'll be honest, it's kind of like, it's really like it's like instead of somebody reading your whole manuscript, they're reading the first 10,000 words and kind of giving you sort of a developmental edit of your act 1. You know what I mean? And where they think the story is going to go. Because I've gotten those and they just seem to be just go for just do the whole developmental edit. Don't waste the time.
Don't waste the time and money.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up spending more money by doing those little snippets.
Yes. Totally.
Than working on the whole thing. Yeah.
So it's important. So how do we know? Okay. So I interviewed this guy, right? And he seems so legit to me. But what I did not do is I didn't get a sample edit. I know from my line editor, I got sample edits. So how do we know for sure that we can trust someone? Especially if someone's that big fancy platform that charges more money. Mm-hmm. A lot of those people that are doing their side gigs on there, they straight up see that as a side gig, as a side hustle. It ain't their real job. Yeah. So we're paying this extra money going on these fancy platforms, and we might not be able to trust people. And I ain't calling nobody out, but I'm just saying I had a real bad experience.
I'll be very honest. It's hard to discern through things like reviews or whatever, because especially when we're dealing with that now, it's like, where do we publish our reviews? Because you can't leave a Google review for a website. That's not a location. So, it's hard to find that.
There's in-platform reviews, but for instance, this guy was basically preying on people who he just thought were new writers, that were he was preying on them. But
you did not get a free sample edit. So that was the next thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
So you can't rely on things like reviews.
Protect yourself, kids.
In the unknown. You can't rely on word of mouth either, because I had an editor that was word of mouth and it didn't go well for me. But definitely see if they offer a sample edit. If they do not offer a free sample edit, that's a red flag.
Like a first chapter, first
chapter
few pages.
Or first 1,000 words. Yeah. It could be first 500 words. Because sometimes...
it's not just, the developmental edit. It's not only the whole story structure. It's also chapter level. They should be able to look at your first chapter, even the first half of your chapter.
And it really just depends. I had a recent client that I was going to do the first chapter, and it ended up being 10,000 words. And I ended up doing the first 500 only because that is what this person needed. Yeah. That's it. And so you can't really go by that, because that number is arbitrary.
Yeah, and you're going to know within the first, honestly, within the first couple of pages, whether or not the chapters is kind of set up to go where it's supposed to. A good developmental editor is going to know that. So I would say sample edit, I will never, ever, ever, ever go by somebody's bullshit again. I want to
definitely make use of sample edits. And I always joke and say finding an editor is like dating.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
That sample edit is
so is a critique partner. Isn't that right, honey?
Sure. Yes. That first sample edit is like your first date. So if you want, collect a few of them, honestly, because you're gonna see who you're gonna vibe well with, who you're gonna be able to work well with. Are they worth their weight in gold with their suggestions and their advisement? Do they sound professional? Like this is they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and in retrospect, when I went back and looked at the reviews of the people who were giving this person reviews, that they gave them good reviews, I was like, I looked at it with a little bit more of a keen eye. Yeah. And I was like, you're all as green as green as the bush in spring.
And that's why I'm saying sometimes you really cannot, when it comes to this, you really cannot depend on reviews, because, and I took a little look at Fiverr when we were doing research for beta readers or whatever to see what people are saying, for the paid betas. And they have some great reviews. And when you look at them, it's like, this is the first thing they ever wrote.
Yeah, make sure the reviewers sound like they know what the hell they're talking about.
They don't know the difference between a beta reader, a critique partner, an alpha reader, or whatever. They don't know the difference.
Yeah. And recommendations. So if you've been listening to our other videos and you've learned about the critique partners, getting those critique partners and listen, life is about relationships. I don't care what anybody tells you. Life is about relationships. Those relationships with your critique partners, they can recommend developmental editors. They can recommend their people that they use. Sorry if I'm banging on the microphone. But having those relationships, there's nothing like a recommendation, somebody who's already worked with someone. Yeah. You know what I mean? That you trust this person and you know that, they know what they're doing, and you'll take their recommendation. So having those critique partners in place, that's going to be helpful for when it's time to hire your vendors, because you're a business and you hire vendors.
That's right.
Right?
I feel like the sun is really shining on me right now. You know what I mean?
That's because it's developmental editor.
What can we expect to pay?
Oh, right. How much should we pay?
That's a big one, but it costs money.
Yeah.
Well, you're creating a business.
Yeah.
When you are publishing your book, you are publishing your brand.
Yes.
You're not just publishing a book, you are publishing yourself. Because you're going to be a trustworthy author that people want to go back to and trust that your stories follow through. Yeah. They make sense. They are edited properly. You want them to come back for book 2.
Yes.
And your next series, and your next series, and your series.
Or just your novel. You might be writing a standalone, but you still want them to come back and you want them to tell all their friends.
Right.
You know, there's a really great book out there. It's called Big Magic. Like, as an artist, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I'm an author, and I love this book. This book, you know, forgot the name of the author. Sorry, lady. But she talks about, you know, as artists, we always want our art. You know, our dream, our goal is like, let our art support us, right? And you know what? Like,
that's always the dream.
Her thing is like, you know what, man? Support your art. Support your art. And that might take a little bit more time. That might take a little bit more savings. That might take, but you know what? And I'm not saying like never release something until it's the best. Like, no.
There's no such thing as perfect, but do your due diligence.
Do the due diligence. It might take more time.
Yeah, for God's sake, do the due diligence. Take the time. Nobody just creates a business without spending any money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And ain't nobody going to give you a loan for this. So it's, you know, you might have to work to support your art. And you know what? I've done that my whole life. I've done it my whole life.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. And you know
what can we expect to pay? So like, all right. Yeah. So this super expensive platform that shall remain nameless, that I'll probably never go to again. All of the quotes that I got were legit. Where I was at, okay, pre-developmental edit, we were at like about 140,000 words. So the prices I was getting was between $2,500 and $5,000. Okay. Now this jerk came in at $1,600. That's right. And if you're watching this, if you see this, you're a jerk. You're a jerk, and you're lucky I didn't report you. But anyway,
1,600 is doable, and I guess that's what.
And that was what I think we should expect to pay. Like,
that's what caught you $5,000, guys. You're watching this.
That's crazy.
I'm a developmental editor. She's a developmental editor.
Too much.
Do not pay $5,000. Do not, because think about your ROI. So just because there's a big price point doesn't mean that it is gold. It doesn't mean that it is.
And just because it's a low price point doesn't mean that you're getting a good deal. Okay. Because let me tell you something. If you have to hire another developmental editor because you only paid half,
you're paying
double. So
what are we offering, CJ?
We are offering, we will do your developmental edit.
We will.
You can go to grimhousepub.com.
The link is in the description down below. You can book us, both of us, for the price of one.
Yeah, 2 for 1 deal, baby.
Yeah, 2 brains are better than one. What we like to do is almost bring it back to the traditional publishing mindset, where you would have several editors working on a manuscript. Yeah. Different points of views to.
She ain't always right. Where's that thumbs up? I gotta slap her around every now and then. All right, guys. Link in the comments. Like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.